Um,
I was just have a little reflection that I'll share, and just based on what you're talking about. Um, so I got home the other day, and my husband had left me a note that he was up in these fields and to come meet him. And it was just getting dark, and I kind of psyched myself up to walk through the woods in the dark in this little section of woods that I don't usually walk through in the dark. And so I like grabbed my headlamp and I'm walking along, and it's feeling really good. And I know the path really well with my feet. And so don't really need to see that well. And I'm enjoying being in the woods in the dark. And then all of a sudden, I was not enjoying being in the woods in the dark. And that shadow is a bear, and that stick is a snake. And this twig that just touched me is something that's going to grab me, and started to really my brain started to make me frightened. And I just like paused and stopped, like tried to stop seeing and just keep moving. And that was a very interesting sensation, to just go forward and trust this space that I know very well without looking at all the details and letting my mind frighten me. So I was in that space. And then I saw something move that I really did think was a bear, because it could well have been a bear, because there's bears in those woods, which is why I don't usually walk through them in the dark. It wasn't, but it was my dog, and it was my husband. And I yelled at them because I didn't recognize who they were at first. And then I did, and I shifted immediately into like joy, because I'm like, oh, I'm saved. And like, so just everything that you're describing of like this sensation of, how scary it is to move into the darkness. And then it can be a relief to move into the darkness. And then it can be scary again. And then things that are very familiar can be surprising. And like that, I don't often get to see my husband as a new, as something that I don't recognize, as someone that I don't recognize. And it was a really brilliant um, sensation. So I guess I'm just like thinking about, wondering how to operate in that state on the day to day. And that felt like a little bit of a risky thing to do. And I'm not really interested in, purposefully doing risky things in order to kind of startle myself into a new way of thinking. But it did, and was effective. So that was just coming up. And all that was in the span of minutes, like this whole journey of sensation and fear and joy and elation um, happened very, very fast. So I don't know if there's a question there, but I just was felt inspired to share that as you're talking, because I could really feel it in my body. So thank you.
this story says it all. It's the whole thing. The experience was so real and visceral at every step. And in one moment, terror, and the next moment, relief, and then joy, and right? And all of those were experienced. And it happened so quickly. I just slow the time down, and now you can call it my life. One moment this, the next moment that. But really, what happened? Nothing. Very, very close to nothing, at least. Years ago, I heard was a neuroscientist, and he was doing a walkabout in Australia. And as he was walking, his leg brushed up against a twig, and he just reached down and scratched it, like this. And then, I don't know, a couple minutes later, he was on the ground writhing in pain, and realized it was a snake bite, and he was about to die. And I don't remember what happened then, but he was saved somehow. And it took some time for him to recover. And then, having recovered, he wanted to conquer, this sense of fear. And so he decided to do another walkabout, let's say 3 years later, okay? And he's walking. This is a true story. And he's walking, and a snake bites him again. I mean, what are the chances, he thinks? And he's writhing on the ground in absolute agony, total agony. And his guide comes up and says, "Mate, it's just a twig." How can it be? How can it be that the memory can really inhabit us to the degree that he is writhing around in agony? With the nausea, with the heart pumping, sweating, all of it. Nothing happened. How is this possible? This is PTSD, isn't it? I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but isn't this at the heart of, anyway, what is called PTSD? Isn't this truly what is at the heart of it, of suffering? Of identified and past? And re-experiencing it, just viscerally. Huh? We think we know so much, we're so certain we haven't the faintest clue what is happening now, because we're so mesmerized by the distorted lens of perception. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And with great love and compassion, because, it's honest. It isn't dishonest. It isn't disingenuous. Somehow the system is corrupted by memory. I don't know. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. It pervades every aspect of what you think of as your life. These two stories. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. And